Hi there, Kenny from Owlbot, and I really quickly just kind of wanted to talk about inexpensive lighting. They're not even really techniques, but maybe some tips. I'm sorry I'm not quite presentable at the moment. I've just kind of been goofing around. I'm using a door as fill. I don't know if you can see the difference there. Anyway, I've got a Kino Flow set, which is a little old, random LEDs, all kinds of different, I got all kinds of different lights. But one thing that I'm always thinking about is it's not the fixture that matters. There's plenty of people here on the tubes who are like, invest in lighting. And that's true, you should, but it's not necessarily the lights themselves that you have to invest in. Invest in a light meter, honestly. This one's my older one. I have one with a spot meter that's nice. Anyway, so what I'm lit with right here is a ring light that I fashioned out of incredibly inexpensive parts. I got these Cree warm, sort of tungsten balanced bulbs that were, I think, $20-something for 8 of them, which is an insane price. I could be wrong. I'll flash the price here on the screen. And they're in this sort of chandelier-like holder that I think was like $11. Again, I'll flash the real price. And that's just on a stand. And then that's in my bathroom over here. And then I've got a piece of diffusion that is up across the threshold, the door, where the door would be. And it's just shining through that. And that's what's lighting me now. And it looks a little lit because the background obviously is daylight. But it looks nice. This is a nice look, and it's on a dimmer, so I can control how aggressive this looks. But I think this looks quite pleasant, if I do say so myself. We're shooting at 4,300 Kelvin, so there's a little bit. The two color temperatures are a little bit. They keep their separation, but a little bit closer. Versus if I were to properly balanced to my face, then that would go very blue, but also makes me look a little tan. I'm pretty naturally pink, so the tungsten's helping me out there a little bit. Another thing that I did was I keep hearing people say like, oh, you don't need to invest in diffusion, get some shower curtain, but I never actually see anyone show the shower curtain. So give me a moment and I will put up the shower curtain. This shower curtain, it's just this sort of, this material. This cost me $5 at Marshall's, or Ross, or Home Goods, or TJ Maxx, or anything like that. You'll definitely find it there. And this is a 70 by 72 inch, I almost said diffusion, shower curtain. Obviously you don't want to get a super clear one because that'll do almost no diffusing at all. Maybe give it a try. I just didn't feel like spending $6 on that. But I'm going to put this up now and we can compare this to the proper diffusion. This is Lee 152, which is quarter white. So 1 second. I suppose I should show what it looks like with no diffusion, which honestly, this isn't really the world's worst look either. Looks a little more lit. It's probably a little stronger than before. Where did I put my... Before I was at a 2.8.1 and now it is reading at a 2.82 actually. So about the same heat. But maybe perhaps a little bit stronger. It's maybe 6 feet away from me. Yeah, so now I'll put up the shower curtain and I'll show you what that looks like. I'm assuming it'll be more diffuse. So the contrast ratio on my face will go down. So it'll be a more even look. So now this is the shower curtain. That looks very nice. I'm really enjoying it. That looks great. 2.8.1 or 2.8 flat. So this is we're at key. So the lens is set to 2.8 and it is metering at exactly 2.8. And as I said, and I kind of am showing here, it's a bit more even, a little wrappier around the face. And if you just look at the diffusion, which you're not right now, but if you're looking at your diffusion, you want to evaluate how diffuse a light is going to be. You can just look at it, and if you see a spot, it's going to be less diffuse. And right now the shower curtain is really kicking that light everywhere. But I think this looks great. You wouldn't know that this is all in $50 or less worth of lighting. Now, obviously I'm taping the shower curtain to the wall, and it's covering the door frame, so the light's kicking through that. So you might need to spend a little bit more money hoisting the shower curtain, so to speak. C-stands can be very expensive, but if you can find any way to get that up there, awesome. And like I said, it's 72 inches by 70 inches, I think. So it's a really big diffusion. Like a big piece of diffusion like that, a proper diffusion costs hundreds of dollars. And look at this. This looks great. I will say, if you're going to copy this, technically you want to use real tungsten light bulbs, but the things that I've linked here are the little chandelier, the ring light chandelier thing that holds all the bulbs can only handle like 11 watts or something like that. And so the LED bulbs are a necessity, because if you were to use real bulbs, it would draw too much power and burn the thing up. That's a nice thing about LEDs. They don't draw a lot of power. Another thing to think about is color accuracy. You can't just really use any LED bulb in this situation because it won't look good on camera. I'm sure you've heard about high CRI lighting, but CRI is, I've got a video on this channel about quality of light, like literal good or badness of a light as it pertains to cinematography. It's called like Don't Let LEDs Ruin Your Shoot or something like that. But you have to use bulbs that are of high quality. So these Cree ones that I've linked are actually pretty high quality, interestingly enough. But I mean, I'm working on an article testing just random household bulbs, and you'd be surprised, which ones are actually quite good. I think IKEA might be a good one. I haven't tested it yet. Don't take my word. But you need one of these. This is you don't need one of these, but you've got CRI. Don't really worry about that. SSI, which tells you whether or not something matches another thing. So you could, it's the spectral similarity index. So if I wanted this to be exactly tungsten, I could compare it to a real tungsten source and see how closely it matched. That's not really interesting for us right now. TLCI is the more recent thing, which is kind of like CRI, but intended for 3-chip cameras. And you can compare to other things as well. Again, that's not really where we want to be. TM30. This really isn't. Can you see that? Got to do the makeup influencer thing. This circle is what we want. That tells us how off the light is. So if I were to meter, this takes, metering color takes a second, but so we're getting an RF of 92. So that's pretty decent, especially for a household bulb. Anything above 90 is good, great. Anything above 90 is great. And we are getting a CCT of 2700. That's our color temperature, which does check out. On the box, it says these are 2700 Kelvin bulbs. This is reading as 2707, and so this it's actually a little bit cooler or warmer than that, perhaps, because this diffusion is going to add a little bit of color. But yeah, we're good there. It's got an RG of 100, and I can't remember what RG is. Because an RF, anyway, doesn't matter. The point is, I got good bulbs. You got to make sure you find good bulbs. I'll link a resource in the comments that'll show you the TLCI of a whole bunch of lights, but not so many household bulbs. And like I said, I'm working on an article comparing a bunch of household bulbs. So hopefully that'll help you out. But yeah, moral of the story, when you're thinking about making your next project, don't worry so much about the gear. Obviously, having a nice camera is really nice. Having great lenses and great lights, amazing. But the most important thing is to focus on the story. Once you've got a great story, you don't actually have to spring for too much expensive gear. I have a video on this channel talking about the XL2 and how that looks pretty nice. You know, you would not, I say pretty nice. It would look good for like a horror short or something like that. There's no bad cameras. There's only the right camera for the right job, stealing something that Matthew Duclos told me on a podcast that you can also find on this channel. He was referring to lenses. There's no bad lens. There's only the right lens for the right job. And I agree with that. But when you're filming, you don't need the newest LED panel. You don't need anything like that. You just need a big man, this video is really moving around because it's not scripted. But generally, what people want is a big soft source today. That's just the lighting style that is in vogue. It's not correct and it's not cinematic. It's just what's popular right now. Hard light is starting to come back. Top light is very popular right now. Again, you have to learn your lighting techniques. That's not what this video is about. I'm just here talking about how easy it is to achieve a good result with minimal investment. But yeah, the nice thing about the chandelier light is like maybe you have a socket in the ceiling and it's exactly where you want your light to be. You could screw that little chandelier ring light that we've made, maybe put a little skirt around it so it doesn't hit the walls so much. And, you're laughing, you're having a good time. So just something to think about while I was goofing off here in the office testing out lights. So, yeah, that's all I've got for you right now. I will undoubtedly make something more polished soon. Be sure to listen to Frame and Reference, my podcast interviewing cinematographers. It's excellent. Trust me, it's on this channel. It's also on your favorite podcast app. ASC members, big films you've heard of, documentaries, projects you haven't heard of, obviously, some of them. Yeah, worth your time. Anyway, that's all from me. Hope that's helpful, and I hope all I can do is hope.